Ezekiel Chapter 43. Then he brought me to the gate, that is, the gate that faces toward the east. And the glory of the God of Israel was there, coming from the way of the east, and his voice was like the sound of many waters, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. And it was like the appearance of the vision which I saw, that is, like the vision that I had seen when he came to destroy the city, and the visions were like the vision that I had seen by the river Chebar. And I fell on my face. And the glory of Jehovah came into the house through the gate which faced toward the east. And the Spirit took me up and brought me into the inner court, and just then the glory of Jehovah filled the house. And I heard someone speaking to me out of the house, and a man stood beside me. And he said to me, Son of man, this is the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever. And the house of Israel will no longer defile my holy name, neither they nor their kings, by their fornication and by their kings' dead bodies on their high places. When they placed their threshold by my threshold and their doorpost beside my doorpost, there was only the wall between me and them, and they have defiled my holy name by their abominations which they have committed. Therefore I have consumed them in my anger. Now let them put away their fornication and the dead bodies of their kings far from me, and I will dwell in their midst forever. You, O Son of Man, describe the house to the house of Israel, that they may feel humiliated because of their iniquities, and let them measure the pattern. And if they feel humiliated because of all that they have done, make known to them the design of the house, the arrangement, its exits, its entrances, its whole design, and all its statutes, indeed its whole design and all its laws, and write them down in their sight, that they may keep its whole design and all its statutes, and do them. This is the law of the house, its entire area on the top of and all around the mountain shall be most holy. Indeed this is the law of the house. Now these are the measurements of the altar by cubits, the cubit is a cubit and a handbreadth. The bottom shall be a cubit in height, a cubit in depth, and its surrounding border on its edge a span. Now this is the base of the altar. And from the top of the bottom upon the ground to the top of the lower ledge shall be 2 cubits, and 1 cubit in depth, and from the lesser ledge to the greater ledge shall be 4 cubits, and a cubit in depth. And the altar hearth shall be 4 cubits in height, and from the altar hearth there shall also be 4 horns projecting upward. And the altar hearth shall be 12 cubits long by 12 cubits wide, square on its 4 sides. And the greater ledge shall be 14 cubits long by 14 cubits wide on its 4 sides, and its surrounding border shall be half a cubit, and its bottom shall be a cubit all around, and its steps shall face east. And he said to me, Son of man, thus says the Lord Jehovah, these are the statutes of the altar to be observed on the day when they make it, for offering up burnt offerings on it and for sprinkling blood upon it. You shall give the Levitical priests who are of the seed of Zadok, who draw near to me to minister to me, declares the Lord Jehovah, a bull of the herd for a sin offering. And you shall take some of its blood and put it on its 4 horns, on the 4 corners of the ledge, and upon the surrounding border. Thus you shall purify it and make expiation for it. You shall also take the bull of the sin offering, and it shall be burnt in the appointed place of the house, outside the sanctuary. And on the 2nd day you shall present a male goat without blemish for a sin offering, and they shall purify the altar, just as they purified it with the bull. When you have finished purifying it, you shall present a bull of the herd without blemish and a ram of the flock without blemish. And you shall present them before Jehovah, and the priests shall throw salt upon them, and they shall offer them up as a burnt offering to Jehovah. Each day for 7 days you shall offer a goat for a sin offering, they shall also offer a bull of the herd and a ram out of the flock without blemish. 7 days they shall make expiation for the altar and cleanse it, and so consecrate it. And when they have fulfilled the days, on the 8th day and onward, the priests shall offer your burnt offerings and your peace offerings upon the altar, and I will accept you, declares the Lord Jehovah. Ezekiel Chapter 44. Then he brought me back to the outer gate of the sanctuary, which faces east, but it was shut. And Jehovah said to me, This gate will remain shut, it will not be opened, nor will any man enter through it, for Jehovah the God of Israel has entered through it, therefore it will remain shut. As for the prince, he will sit in it as a prince to eat food before Jehovah, he will enter through the porch of the gate and go out the same way. Then he brought me through the north gate to the front of the house, and I looked, and just then the glory of Jehovah filled the house of Jehovah, and I fell upon my face. And Jehovah said to me, Son of man, pay attention, and look with your eyes, and listen with your ears to all that I say to you concerning all the statutes of the house of Jehovah and all its laws, and pay attention to the entrance of the house, with every exit of the sanctuary. And you shall say to the rebellious, to the house of Israel, Thus says the Lord Jehovah, Enough, O house of Israel, of all your abominations. Inasmuch as you have brought in foreigners, uncircumcised in heart and uncircumcised in flesh, to be in my sanctuary, to profane it, my house, when you presented my bread, the fat and the blood. And in addition to all your abominations, you broke my covenant. And you have not kept the charge of my holy things, but you have set your own keepers of my charge in my sanctuary. Thus says the Lord Jehovah, No foreigner, uncircumcised in heart and uncircumcised in flesh, of any of the foreigners who are among the children of Israel, shall enter into my sanctuary. But the Levites who went far from me, when Israel went astray, who went astray from me after their idols, shall bear their iniquity. Yet they shall minister in my sanctuary, having oversight at the gates of the house and ministering in the house. They shall slaughter the burnt offering and the sacrifice for the people, and they shall stand before them to minister to them. Because they ministered to them before their idols and became a stumbling block of iniquity to the house of Israel, therefore I have sworn concerning them, declares the Lord Jehovah, that they shall bear their iniquity. And they shall not come near to me to serve me as a priest, nor come near to any of my holy things, to the things that are most holy, but they shall bear their disgrace and their abominations which they have committed. Yet I will appoint them keepers of the charge of the house, for all its service and for all that will be done in it. But the Levitical priests, the sons of Zadok, who kept the charge of my sanctuary when the children of Israel went astray from me, they shall come near to me to minister to me, and they shall stand before me to present to me the fat and the blood, declares the Lord Jehovah. It is they who will enter my sanctuary, and it is they who will come near to my table to minister to me, and they will keep my charge. And when they enter the gates of the inner court they shall be clothed with linen garments, and no wool will come upon them while they minister in the gates of the inner court and inside it. They shall have linen turbans on their heads and have linen trousers over their loins, they shall not gird themselves with anything that causes sweat. And when they go out into the outer court to the people, they shall take off their garments with which they minister and put them down in the holy chambers, and they shall put on other garments so that they do not sanctify the people with their garments. They shall neither shave their heads, nor let their locks grow long, they shall only trim the hair of their heads. And no priest shall drink wine when they enter the inner court. And they shall not take as their wives a widow or a divorced woman, but rather they shall take virgins of the seed of the house of Israel or a widow who is the widow of a priest. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the profane and cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean. And in a dispute they shall stand as a judge, according to my ordinances they shall give judgment concerning it. They shall also keep my laws and my statutes in all my appointed feasts, and they shall sanctify my Sabbaths. And they shall not go to any dead person to defile themselves. Only for a father, a mother, a son, a daughter, a brother, or a sister who has had no husband may they defile themselves. And after he has been cleansed, they shall number 7 days for him. And on the day he enters the sanctuary, into the inner court to minister in the sanctuary, he shall present his sin offering, declares the Lord Jehovah. And they shall have an inheritance, I am their inheritance. And you shall not give them a possession in Israel, I am their possession. They shall eat the meal offering, the sin offering, and the trespass offering, and every devoted thing in Israel shall be theirs. And the first of all the firstfruits of everything, and every heave offering of everything, of all your heave offerings, shall be the priest's. You shall also give the priests the first of your dough to cause a blessing to rest on your house. The priests shall not eat of anything that dies of itself or is torn by beasts, either a bird or an animal. Ezekiel Chapter 45. Moreover, when you divide the land for inheritance by lot, you shall offer a heave offering of land to Jehovah, a holy portion of the land. Its length shall be 25,000 reeds long, and its width 20,000 reeds. It shall be holy within all its surrounding border. From this there will be reserved for the holy place a 500 reed by 500 reed square all around, and 50 cubits for its surrounding suburbs. You shall also measure from this measurement a length of 25,000 reeds and a width of 10,000 reeds, and in it will be the sanctuary, the most holy place. It is a holy portion of the land. It shall be for the priests, the ministers of the sanctuary, who come near to minister to Jehovah, and it shall be a place for their houses as well as a holy area for the sanctuary. And an area 25,000 reeds in length and 10,000 reeds in width shall be for the Levites, the ministers of the house, for their own possession, for cities to live in. And alongside the holy heave offering you shall grant a possession for the city, 5,000 reeds in width and 25,000 reeds in length. It shall be for the whole house of Israel. And you shall set aside for the prince on both sides of the holy heave offering and of the city's possession, adjacent to the holy heave offering and adjacent to the city's possession, on the west side toward the west and on the east side toward the east. Thus the total length corresponds to one of the tribal portions from the western border to the eastern border. In the land it shall be his possession in Israel. And my princes shall no longer oppress my people, but they shall give the land to the house of Israel according to their tribes. Thus says the Lord Jehovah, enough. O princes of Israel! Put away violence and destruction, and execute justice and righteousness. Cease from your evicting of my people, declares the Lord Jehovah. You shall have just balances, a just ephah, and a just bath. The ephah and the bath shall be of one measure, so that the bath may contain 1/10 of a homer, and the ephah 1/10 of a homer. Its measure shall be according to the homer. And the shekel shall be 20 gerahs, 20 shekels, 25 shekels, and 15 shekels shall make up your mina. This is the heave offering which you shall offer, 1/6 of an ephah from a homer of wheat, and 1/6 of an ephah from a homer of barley. And a set portion of oil, that is, the bath of oil, 1/10 of a bath from the kore, which is 10 baths, that is, a homer, for 10 baths are a homer. And 1 lamb out of 200 from the flock from the well-watered pastures of Israel for a meal offering, for a burnt offering, and for peace offerings to make expiation for them, declares the Lord Jehovah. All the people of the land shall join with the prince to contribute to this heave offering in Israel. But it will be the prince's portion to provide the burnt offerings, the meal offerings, and the drink offerings in the feasts, on the new moons, and on the Sabbaths, in all the appointed feasts of the house of Israel. He shall prepare the sin offering, the meal offering, the burnt offering, and the peace offerings to make expiation for the house of Israel. Thus says the Lord Jehovah, in the first month, on the first day of the month, you shall take a bull of the herd without blemish, and you shall purify the sanctuary. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering and put it upon the doorposts of the house, and upon the 4 corners of the ledge of the altar, and upon the doorposts of the gate of the inner court. And so you shall do on the 7th day of the month for everyone who sins unintentionally and for the simple. So you shall make expiation for the house. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, you shall have the Passover, a feast of 7 days, unleavened bread shall be eaten. And on that day the prince shall prepare for himself and for all the people of the land a bull for a sin offering. And during the 7 days of the feast he shall prepare a burnt offering to Jehovah, 7 bulls and 7 rams without blemish, daily for 7 days, and a male goat daily for a sin offering. And he shall prepare a meal offering, an ephah for a bull, an ephah for a ram, and a hin of oil for an ephah. In the 7th month, on the 15th day of the month, at the feast, he shall make the same provision 7 days for the sin offering, for the burnt offering, for the meal offering, and for the oil.